keep on hiding. I'm fully known and loved by you. You won't let go, no matter what I do. And it's not one or the other. It's hard truth and ridiculous grace to be known, fully known and loved by you. I'm fully known and loved by you.
But of course, the Bible goes more in depth as to what forgiveness is really all about. So the Bible defines forgiveness in 3 different ways: unilateral forgiveness, bilateral forgiveness. And the third type of forgiveness is complete forgiveness. Right, so the first type of forgiveness is unilateral forgiveness. Unilateral forgiveness is basically one-sided forgiveness. In this type of forgiveness, the offender, which is the person who hurts you, is either not concerned about being forgiven or they are not available to be forgiven. In this type of forgiveness, you are required to forgive even if the offender is not interested in being forgiven. A great scripture reference that backs up unilateral forgiveness would be Luke chapter 23, verse 34. The second type of forgiveness is bilateral forgiveness. Be mindful, this kind of forgiveness, the offender is willing to take responsibility and admit they were truly wrong in what they did. A great scripture reference that backs up bilateral forgiveness would be Luke chapter 17, verses 3 through 4. And the third type of forgiveness is living forgiveness. This type of forgiveness involves you actually walking out in the forgiveness that you have given to somebody. No reminiscing on what they did to you. No bringing up the past, and actually living in the forgiveness that you granted. This forgiveness can also be the forgiveness of living complete in Jesus Christ. The scripture references that back up living forgiveness through the work of Jesus Christ on the cross would involve any scriptures in the Bible that talks about Jesus dying for the payment of our sins.
Fully known and loved by you. I'm fully known and loved by you.
Who do we not forgive? Our parents, ourselves, God, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, husbands, children, governments, laws. Basically, we're just a bunch of non-forgiving individuals. And because of this, in and through ourselves, we cannot forgive. We need God's supernatural help to even help us forgive through prayer and ultimately salvation. Why do we not forgive? Pride. Feeling as though someone owes you. We truly don't believe that God will deal with us about not forgiving, even if the other person was wrong. We don't truly believe that we have done anything wrong to anybody else that required them to have to forgive us, even though it may have been hard for them. And I feel like this is people's favorite excuse. I already did forgive.
So unusual, it's frightening. You see right through the mess inside me.
Now that we know why we don't forgive and who we don't forgive, it's important to know now what are the effects of not forgiving. Number 1, you end up with bad relationships. Carrying over heartbreak from past marriages or past relationships or past friendships, you take that hurt into new friendships and a new marriage. You walk around treating other people how that person treated you, and you do it unknowingly. That is the power that unforgiveness has on your relationships. Colossians 2 and 13 shows us that our relationship with God begins with forgiveness. So if our relationship with God begins with forgiveness, that means any earthly relationship that you begin with somebody else must start with forgiveness. Second reason, it clogs your blessing pipe. It clogs your blessing pipe. Don't believe me? Check out James chapter 1 verse 17. Bottom line, Forgive God and people for what you think they have done to you. God is not your enemy. People are not your enemy. I don't care who they are, what position they hold in life, or where they are in our society. John 10:10 tells us that God is not our enemy. John 10:10 tells us that the devil comes to rob, steal, kill, and destroy. The devil promotes unforgiveness through these. Forgive God for when things of this nature take place. It's not him, it's the devil. You can also go back to Ephesians where it says we are not fighting against people. We're not fighting against governments. We're not fighting against laws. We're fighting evil in high places. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 through 6 tells us the devil wants you away from your help. God is your help. He is the one that can restore you after anybody does anything to you. If you're walking in hatred, God can't restore anything, no matter what anybody has done to you. You have got to let everybody off the hook. When you forgive, you are right in God's domain, in his pathway. God can't do anything but bless you when you forgive. No good thing will be withheld from you. Know your enemy. It's not God, it's not people, it's not the government, it's not politicians, it's not society, it's the devil.
So unusual, it's frightening. You see right through the mess inside me.